Three,
Hello,
two,
Jiang.
one.
Hello.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the 35th episode of the LLB podcast. Today, we got with us June and Jianggan. Jianggan's back from his China trip in Singapore. Heading
How
up to
was
Cambodia soon.
how was Dystopia?
Dystopia? I thought it was Utopia. Come on.
I know. I'm just trolling Jianggan, right? I'm trying to get a reaction out of him.
Exhausted. I mean, I think we had a brief catch up during that period. That was before I got drunk. So
I need
7 days
to
of drinking.
release that episode.
Yeah, 7 days.
Yes.
Lots of catch up. Spoke quite a bit with the local business community, entrepreneurs and stuff. And just it's kind of weird because I mean I left my hometown when I was 16, right? And afterwards I've been regularly going back for Chinese New Year, but because of COVID, I had not been back for like 5 years. And
Okay.
yeah, and obviously many things stay the same, right? After COVID, sort of people still go out for dinner, and there's still lots of drinks, and you get drunk really fast. And next morning you go around looking for your car because you can't remember where you parked your car. And that kind of experience is the same. Everyone I've talked to has been saying that I mean the economy has been hard. I mean, so circumstances have been difficult. Some people are optimistic, some people are not. So, but yeah, things have been difficult economically. But that probably made people want to drink extra during the New Year period.
Well, I mean, okay, we need to jump to the main topic of AI soon. But before we ask, I just had a quick question. You did say you did talk to some mid-level bureaucrats. Anything interesting from the government side?
I actually spoke with people from different levels of the government. But I mean that's what happens during New Year, right? I mean you
mix
have
everyone.
gathering with officials from your jurisdiction. I mean, there will be people who come back from the capital for the New Year, and you catch up with them because some of them you have known for a while. Some of them have been your neighbors. I can't remember any of the conversations, to be honest, because it's too much drinking.
Okay, well, we'll get into that.
I really can't remember. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe you can contact them back and see if you said anything inappropriate. Who knows? First topic: Sora. Sora's going to come and murder your AI startup. And June got really excited before you came, Jianggan, to talk about this. So we're going to get into it. But so for people who don't know, the latest development from OpenAI, Sora, is this allows users to use text and video that kind of make insane videos from whatever you're typing. And on the heels of this, I would also like to add that Gemini 1.5 is out, and they are now able to retrieve a context length of 10 million at 99% accuracy. Right, so this setup is kind of like twofold. So on one hand, I think Jianggan wanted to talk about this because Sora has maybe the potential to probably kill a lot of startups who've raised money recently in the AI space. Secondly, though, the other topic which June was excited about was, is this really truly setting up a world for AGI now, right? And this is a little bit out of our wheelhouse, but I did talk to my friend Ken, whose company I invested in the AI space. And he has like a little interesting take where this does actually set up for AGI, where AlphaGo and AlphaZero were able to achieve super performance because they had like perfect simulations of the game Go, right? So currently now, there's no way for like LLMs or AI to have perfect simulations of the real world. LLMs can kind of abstract that from how we interact with them and this kind of stuff. But Sora is kind of like this attempt to build this near perfect simulator. And if that's achieved, right, that's the next stepping stone to a world of AGI. So it's kind of clear that OpenAI's objective, they need to keep in mind that AGI is the main goal, but at the same time, in the short term, they need to also make money. I personally think Sora is like this bridge. Last year, I interviewed one AI founder who's in a very interesting space where he was trying to build an AI that could make storyboarding to make it cheaper for people to pitch movie studio. Like that was the first milestone, and of course later on to more of an AI director. So, and I think Sora might actually feel that there's this use monetization in the short term, or maybe he could use the technology to maybe kind of use whatever's out there to improve his business, but I don't know. So before we get there, I don't know, June, you had some ideas about where this is heading and what you were worried for.
Okay,
so why don't you take it
my main point is like, the pace of acceleration in how AI is improving is just very, very quick. Like I was telling you earlier that just last year, 360 days ago, the first, AI generated video that came out that caught waves was a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was like crazy bad. It's like just this subhuman kind of Will Smith eating spaghetti that it goes through his mouth and it just spawns out of nowhere and stuff like that. It's very primitive, right? You'd say that this is not getting anywhere, and here we are, just like 360 days after we have Sora coming out, and the difference of quality and the difference of what it can do just a year ago to now. I think it's a very impressive shift, right? And I think the pace of AI getting better and better is only increasing. Is AI actually helping create better AI? I think so. That's happening now in OpenAI. So will that become the start of reaching the singularity? I'm not worried about this, but I think very soon governments will want to regulate what AGI can and cannot do across the world, right? But then you have like OpenAI who explicitly states that they don't want to be regulated. They have their own idea of what AGI should be. I think it's worrying in that sense.
I think they want to be regulated, right? I mean, last year, some Altman spent I think quite a few weeks going around the globe, talking to different government officials and talking to prime ministers, and trying to create some consensus on AI regulation. Because I mean, whatever regulation that government might put in, whatever, I think OpenAI would have advantage because only they have the resources to negotiate with different governments. I mean, because imagine if you're a startup, I mean, how are you going to hire all these lawyers and stuff to talk to governments, experts? I mean, that itself, it takes lots of effort. Last year, I have quite a few friends actually, so who had been in the AI space for ages. I mean, some of them just quit their company to start their new startup. No. Sorry?
China?
No, everywhere. So based in China, based in Singapore, based in the Valley, and some of them just quit their company to start a startup. Some of them are founders of companies in Series C, Series D, and of course the ChatGPT thing sort of threw everybody's sort of effort up in the air, right? I mean, people are saying that okay, so the world is changing and it's probably changing very fast. What can I do? I mean, everyone knows that they need to do something different, but the tricky part is that what exactly do you do? Because there's so much that's unknown, and you could potentially have like, I don't know, 20 different things that you could do, and I think 15 or 70 of them will be decimated by the expanding capabilities of large models, such as what OpenAI has been creating. But you don't know which ones. So
personal anecdote. I tried to use AI to be an interior designer. So I found this AI startup that focuses on giving. Okay, you put the floor size of your room, it will spew you a few different renders of what an ideal layout can look like. Yeah. And then after that, it can even create the list of items to buy. And then right away, try to at least have a preliminary RFI, the purchase order of what needs to be bought and what kind of dimensions and descriptions of the things, right? And with this, you can easily go to any supplier to get a quote, right? So just that being an idea, you have taken up so much of the work that they used to do by hand, right? Yeah. And now it's 90% faster. Just for one client.
Why do you want to be an idea? Idea is a bad business. I mean, you need to constantly.
No, I don't want to be an idea. I'm just trying.
It's part of the family.
No, it's just something that I did before. It's something I did before manually, right? And it took some time. So I kind of know how much time it took, right, and what needs to be done. And now that I use AI, I can get like what 90 to 95% the same result, right, in just less than a day's work.
So your objective is to reduce 90 to 95% of the fees that IDs charge you for the properties that you manage or you acquire.
You don't have to get so deep. I'm just like, fooling around with AI. But I think, yeah, it's getting to the point that yes, it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's expanding fast, and people have been. The thing is that I mean, lots of people I know, they have the thesis that okay, they need to stay away from the sphere of large language models, right? You want to make use of them, but you don't want to be absorbed into their expanding capabilities. But the question is that what exactly is there that's far away from the capabilities and that you can effectively tap into? So that's not that easy to figure out. I mean, lots of the low-hanging fruit business models have already been decimated. Or no, I mean, the investor appetite or the confidence into these business models have been decimated. Yeah, so the business model will still be around. I mean, Sora. I'm pretty sure that OpenAI would not allow you to use Sora for porn. So if you develop like I don't know AI model for porn or application, you might still have a business.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's always been the case with the start of internet, right? Like porn has always been this big driving force of the technology or the spread of it, but it's always had to branch off because of like the very moral hazard gray area, right? So I definitely agree with your thesis that porn is pretty defensible. I mean, just look at like the evolution of Pornhub. That's like a new evolution of just making better platform. And
I'm not familiar with Pornhub. You guys are probably more familiar with that.
I read some journalists saying that because there's going to be so much really lifelike AI generated content coming out in the future, that the authentic ones would be much better, would be worth much more. So people that still keep to the authentic real life content, porn stars, whatever, they would actually become more differentiated and more how to say their value would increase.
It's like
in the whole.
Yeah,
I don't think it makes sense. I don't think this argument makes sense, right? But it's one way to look at it.
You think about like
would it pan out that way? I don't know.
No, yeah, I think it makes sense, but you sort of, it doesn't mention this fact that authentic, good, popular ones are always scarce, right? I mean, how many? I mean, you look at all the songs which are put on Spotify. I mean, how many authentic songs would actually get popularity? Very, very few.
So, we're talking about the content universe, right? We're talking about like there will be big niches of different films always. It's kind of like amateur type production for the other. Some will prefer probably new gen porn.
It's going to be the authentic is left for the rich. Then the rest of us can just consume, the general AI stuff.
Like a super rich will always go for collector items. I mean, the others would just play Pokemon.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Let's follow.
We're left with all the AI trash, and the rich people will get to use all the things made by real humans. Because it's authentic and genuine.
I mean, you would have a lot of content being mass produced, and people consume this kind of content. And even if the ones generated by AI, I mean, some of them will be better than others, but at the end, it probably doesn't matter because the cost of generation would probably become so low that they can keep producing more content. This is something that I've been discussing with a few people while producing this like immersion trip for live commerce. I mean, lots of people asking about the virtual host, the AI and stuff. I mean, how would that exactly impact things, and how would the platforms look at it? Because I mean, if you look at TikTok essentially built a platform where you have a lot of user generated content, not even professional user generated content, but just user generated content. And how would the mass adoption of AI impact this? So far, what I have seen or what I've heard from different stakeholders, including some people from the platform, is that they are taking a stance where they do not encourage that, they do not ban it either. So they monitor the progress of technology or of the content being created by sort of AI. They're the platforms.
Oh, the platforms. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
The government depends on which government. Some governments will have no idea what's going on, and some governments like China would just need to make sure that nothing goes across the line. I mean, you don't have a Chairman Mao's message superimposed on that of the dog or whatever. Yeah. So I think from a platform's point of view, they're watching very closely, and if you ask people there, they don't know how fast technology would be advancing. They don't know how much creativity that the people deploying this kind of technology would eventually become. So they spend lots of time monitoring, but if you ask them to make predictions, they can't.
Well, we kind of already know though, right? Like there are things that we can know and there are things that we can't know. Like on the frontier of what's happening, we may not know how this kind of spins off, but we've already seen how AI is already blending into our world. And of course, leave it to Japan to kind of figure this out, right? We had the incidents of that. There's like a few incidences, right? There's that one guy who was a motorcycle, like this old dude, but he would like superimpose like he would make himself this really hot young girl in all his images, and then he got huge following. And it was like later found out that he was like this old guy driving around, and like he was using AI to make him look like a young hot girl, which got like a lot of people excited. And then there's all these like like niche big niches where there are all these like AI generated characters that have huge followings, that make song content, that make like, I don't know, just personality, make short content on like TikToks and whatnot. Like we already see how this is already kind of blending, right? So it's almost like both worlds are like evolving into each other. We already know that humans will follow AI in a big way, whether they're faked into it or whether they actually choose to elect into it. We have seen both. And so if you want to put that example to live commerce, like I don't see why both, you'll have people who are like the live person, a real person. There's some people who will just prefer the AI. I definitely think I can see that happening. So
yeah, I think the consumer ecosystem is large enough, and now they're connected to the same platform, or I mean, the selected few platforms. So there will be lots of things which are similarly niche but are able to reach a large audience, and there are many things that even I think the creators of the platform would not be aware of because of people doing things, and it's just so hard.
So open, you can't control it.
Yeah, to know what exactly is going on. Yeah, hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a very weird world. Let's go back to your idea, though, because I'm kind of curious. You said it's going to kill startups. So the first wave killed a lot of early generative startups before OpenAI came out with the first GPT that they released for the mass audience. You said that it's going to possibly kill more startups. What was different from the first wave to what might possibly be killed now?
No, I think there are quite a few people who are exploring different applications of sort of generating video content or generating like real immersive experiences. And I've actually two friends who have been in a very interesting experience over the last year and 2 months. And they started in December 2022. Because they got so excited about OpenAI, and they said, okay, there's something that we could build. They built the first prototype in, I think, February 2022 of a product that helps companies organize their knowledge. And then something happened. So first, there were so many companies doing the same thing, which raised money, which sort of made it hard for them to raise money because investors are asking them, okay, what's special about you? And especially when you're trying to build that out of Southeast Asia rather than the States. Where are you going to find all this talent? Where are you going to find all these users? Where are you going to find the leadership in this industry? Okay, and then of course the API marketplace came about, right? Then that theoretically, whether that would be realized or not, allowed enterprises to organize their own sort of GPTs. That made whatever they're trying to build pretty much redundant because large companies are trying to do it on their own. Smaller companies will not be able to pay, so that made it difficult. And then they started trying out a different business model. I think since May or June, and they have been trying like 3 other business models. Each time after they have a prototype, then realize that shit. Okay, either too many people are doing the same thing, or the OpenAI has expanded the capabilities that made whatever they're trying to build sort of not irrelevant, but hard to imagine how it can become relevant.
I don't think this is that's very novel though. I think that's just a venture game in nature, and I think we have to kind of distinguish. Yeah, we have to distinguish two things though. Like, are you in direct competition with the big guys like OpenAI and Google? And separately, or like what June was trying to do, are you just trying to take the technology and kind of like where we are in Southeast Asia, majority of tech plays are just going to be applied technology that improve a certain old business in one way or the other, fundamentally through the business model or through the operations and get efficiencies, right? So I kind of agree that if you are based in Southeast Asia and you are in direct competition of one of these main short-term missions of OpenAI or Google, you're going to get obliterated. If you're taking the technology and applying it somehow, or if it's like maybe a niche branch that could be possibly acquired later, I think maybe you might not get destroyed. There are some use cases where certain like data is still very hard that like general mass internet can't really get. So I think there's certain data for AI is still very relevant, or other use cases it's possible. I wouldn't say that blanket we should be totally scared of the AI space, but I think investors will have to be more choosy. I think that's what you're alluding to is like
I think
not everyone can just blindly just raise on AI, right?
True. There was a statistic I saw somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it came from, saying that AI investment in China per se dropped by 74% in 2023 compared to 2022, which was interesting because if you look at the tech media, if you look at all the discussions amongst investors and founders, it's all about AI. And I mean, if you close investors you talk to, they will tell you that because everyone's trying to bet on this, trying to sort of find a winning formula here, because I mean otherwise things have been too hard. But everyone is very choosy because you don't really have. When you do a bit of analysis, you realize that lots of business models are very, very risky at this stage when so many things are uncertain. Yeah,
it's the nature of the frontier, man. And I think this ties back to what we said in our earlier episodes of the year. This is very much interest rate driven, right? You just don't have free flowing capital to throw everywhere. So, I think there's this herd mentality that VCs get excited because it's new and big. So there was this initial small wave, and then now it's just like they're like, oh wait, we can't actually do this. It's a bit risky, and also these big guys are just destroying a lot of the money that they probably deployed, probably in small amounts though. It's probably not huge amounts, right?
Don't you have to be like, super, 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 super smart or highly qualified to even attempt to do something in AI?
I think.
I mean, like if you ask all three of us, right, we have no idea on how to actually make an AI product. It's way outside my scope. And I think, someone without a PhD, can't even handle it.
You could.
It's a requirement to have worked in OpenAI before, right? Or at least, have years and years of training in this.
So the company
to even try.
I've spoken with,
and that's where the problem is, right? Because it's so difficult to do. The entrenched player like Google or OpenAI has this enormous advantage.
OpenAI definitely has that advantage. I've spoken with a few people who used to work at OpenAI. I mean, they left at different stages, but what they're telling us is that if you want to build something that's truly frontier, you will have the basis that at OpenAI that you can build on. On top of. If you try to start something outside by using the public APIs and stuff, I mean, you will be at the same sort of starting line as like thousands of other technologists who try to leverage this. But you are at OpenAI building a new product. You have a lot of things you could leverage.
Yeah. I mean, this ties back to what I said earlier. If you're in direct competition, I think what you say stands true, June. But also, like the company that as a personal anecdote, the company I invested in, the guy only has a master's, but he has definitely worked with all those people in the same space, right? It's definitely a small, tight-knit community. And he's not necessarily in direct competition, right? So it's almost like using it in an applied sense, but you still need a deep technical knowledge to make it somewhat unique and defensible or have proprietary technology, right? So you definitely need that. But like what you said earlier, June, like as OpenAI gets better and better and AI iterates on itself, I think it opens up access for people who are not as skilled. As you still need to be very technically skilled at this point, like maybe not necessarily a PhD, but a master's probably in the field. And eventually over time, especially as other layers get built on top of that, it could splinter more. It becomes kind of like what we've seen with software in the past few decades, right?
More lower level abstractions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So eventually, and if AI is fast enough, I think that does make it more accessible. But again, it's just applied technology. It's not like that deep tech stuff that you're talking about. If you're talking about deep tech stuff, frontier stuff that OpenAI is doing, Google, I think what your logic still stands. But there are rooms where you still need to be technical, but not as technical to apply the technology. Like it's still very far from us. Like we're never, like in our lifetime, we're not going to do this. That's for sure. But there are like other layers within the community. From the hardcore guys to like the guys who would work for those guys that could maybe extract away from it and still create value. Right? We see this over time. And if the technology truly is on the J curve and is exponential, then we're going to see more possibilities. I think so. I don't know. It's my take.
I think just to add to that, the notion about deep technical knowledge, the leadership capabilities are also supremely important if you want to make a huge difference, right? I mean, of course, lots of people talk talk about Vitalik Buterin as I don't know, genius in blockchain, but he is also he has also managed to create himself as an influential figure, as a leader, as someone that people aspire to for whatever reasons. And if you just have the deep technical knowledge, I think that's probably not enough. You need to make sure that it's just like any startup. If you want to be the leader in a particular industry, right? I mean, you need to convince people to follow you. You need to convince money to invest in you. You need to convince customers to use you. Yeah,
I think at scale, what you're saying is true, and like kind of what we're looking hindsight 2020 is like the Sam Altman personas of the world. But like when you're just starting off, at a small level, you need that kind of personality and technical knowledge. But you don't need to be like the most influential guy to do a startup in this. I mean, the odds are already against you no matter what, even if you just do venture in general, not even in AI, right? So it's like, but then, so you don't need to be a big persona to get started in it, right? Like that's also true. You just need to string enough luck plus combination, product market fit, solving for a niche to kind of get traction. And then later on that does matter. You need to evolve into that personality or be able to attract that talent that can do it for you. Kind of like how Google developed with the technical founders and they got like Eric Schmidt in and all these things. It can come later. I mean, it is important, right? But it's like the at scale optimization, right? So starting off, maybe not so important, I would say.
Yeah. From an investor point of view, you need to see that possible pathway, right? I mean, you look at two technical founders, you need to see them being potentially evolving into that. And if you don't see a pathway, it's very hard to pull the trigger, especially in the current sort of interesting environment.
I think at the earliest stages, like the more I engage in early stage, at least for me, I care more about going on the journey and if I like them as a person. Later on, if they can even get to the traction, then it's like, to me, it almost sounds like a premature optimization. Some investors probably do think like you're saying, Jianggan. Probably, like a lot of them do. Maybe a majority.
No, because you are using your own money. You're not managing other people's money.
True.
So it's a different mindset.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can afford. If I'm a professional at scale that needs to deploy on numbers, statistics, and percentages, yeah, I think what you're saying does stand. They need to see that, but I think it's also very stupid. It's a premature opposition you can't really see. And if you're going if you're moving from bigger round investments down to like earlier stage, you can't have that same framework, I think. So, but I don't know. To each their own. We'll see in performance. That's all that matters in the end.
Yeah, and there's lots of luck in determining your performance.
Yes, that's true. So let's jump into, so like when I was talking to my friend Ken, the idea is this. So if you can make a real world simulator and if you keep
the Barbie Ken?
Yeah, no, not Ken from Thailand.
Okay.
So if you keep scaling this and you can make a perfect simulator of the world, right? And then what happens is that you get a superhuman robotic kind of software that can achieve a good enough simulation of the human world, and then therefore, it's superhuman because it can retrieve more context than what a human can do. So therefore, it's going to be superhuman, and then eventually this kind of leads to the AGI. So what do you guys think? Like, does Sora kind of get us closer to AGI? I mean, I know this is a little bit out of the wheelhouse, but like, do you think we're eventually going to get there in the next few years, or it's going to take longer, or or maybe on a personal level, like what are you looking at or afraid of from your own context?
Much faster. Next 3 years, 4 years. It's accelerating.
I sold all my Nvidia shares at 410 after making 4x, and now it's like almost.
It's a rocket ship, right?
That's almost 800, and people around me are telling me that it's probably very reasonably priced at the moment. So I mean, what I'm saying is that
Nvidia's the new Apple.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a bubble, and would the bubble ever burst?
Yeah, but if we go back 15, 20 years, would you have said that about Apple? People were saying there's a bubble back then, I bet.
Probably, yeah. So it's hard to say, but then you have other companies which would truly sort of pulling back, and look at Cisco.
Oh, yeah, they're trying hard to apply AI though. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it,
I don't know. I think that the demand for computing will keep going up because of AI.
Yeah, I shared that.
Yeah, but
So
how does that?
do you think there are big solar farms now where they deploy hundreds and hundreds of terawatts of solar farms? They'll be deploying millions and millions petaflops of compute capacity.
Yeah, well, that
So many chips,
they-
many chips will be made in the next in the future.
then a common argument, right? I mean, like decades ago, like demand for air travel would increase. And would you bet in airlines? Would you bet in Boeing? Would you bet in Airbus?
No, I think every citizen will get their quota of compute.
I don't know about that, but I mean, like, I think I don't think so, because like if you follow Moore's law, right? That's, if anything, like currently a big at least on a personal, like now that I use media and that I keep having bigger and bigger like files to deal with and technology, like actually it's weird to say that we're in a state of world where I'm running out of space on a very consistent level, where 20 years ago, like this amount of space we have would be unimaginable. Like we wouldn't think how we could fill it. So I don't know. I think especially with the AI demand, like a big thing that needs to be solved is more compute, more hardware, more storage, faster storage, right? So I don't know. I think they all kind of go in tandem. It's like AI is like a rising tide. This is probably like our new panacea for our children and children's generation. Right? So I don't know.
2 days before I left China, I actually went to a park with my mom. So so we're walking around, and then you see like small shoots of spring coming up, very small shoots of I think pear trees, and you start to see that, okay, in probably 1 month time you will have the flowers, and on the way back through the countryside you see the rapeseed flower, and some of them are already coming out. So I mean, I think, I mean, we're not living in computer simulation. This is a real experience. But afterwards,
so?
if I don't know, but I think this is a real experience. This makes me feel good. And afterwards, I don't know if the similar experience can be rendered by AI, which makes you look, feel, and smell exactly the same. If you didn't know whether it was real or not, you feel good. But if you know it's fake, I mean, how would you feel? I don't know.
I have a thesis about that, like where I do think like one branch of going into the future is technology will converge to reality, as in like if you put everything together eventually, it's just a replication of reality, kind of like in the Star Trek holodeck. It'll just be so perfect that you can't really tell the difference, right? You don't know if you're in reality or not. And I think I don't think Sora in itself really solves all of what you need for AGI. It's a one big puzzle piece, but like there are a lot of people still who, like, the Gary Marcuses of the world, who say that if you look carefully at the details, the physics are not perfect, the reality is not perfect. No, if you have to take into consideration the speed of acceleration, like what June said, right? It is getting exponentially faster and better. So you look another year, I think if AI is really improving on itself, we will see like more perfect physics, more perfect things. But what's still missing is you still need a lot of data from the actual real world. Like you need to combine actual robotics, IoT, that data set combined with the Sora data set and the OpenAI data set combined. It's like, so if you take Boston Robotics, then you take the IoT of Samsung and Google, and they take the software layer of OpenAI. I think eventually these exist in different planes. If you cross-pollinate them, I think they get to that, what you're talking about, Jianggan. You get to this world where it's like almost like a perfect replication of reality, and you get some form of AGI and some form of emergence. That would be my best guess. I don't know. Is it too sci-fi?
Starting with Vision Pro.
So that's part of it too, probably, right? That like collecting that data set will be very important, right? You need to start mapping the world so that the simulation on the LLM side starts to be more realistic, and then you kind of get that. And my thesis of like convergence reality, I think maybe we won't tell in the future. We could choose a reality we want to live in.
And maybe for future generations, it doesn't matter anymore, because that's the reality they are born with. So it's different reality.
Jesus Christ, that's kind of scary.
So would you say, that the future generations and the next generation that we will birth, will they have to work as much at all, to even have a living?
No, we're not there yet. We're not at the point where like we still need to solve almost like unlimited energy, right? We still need to solve a lot of like being able to print anything we want. But maybe AI does help you get there, right? Maybe it's part of the stepping stone, but in the short term, like
if you have unlimited energy, you have unlimited food. Food becomes much, much, much cheaper.
Yeah.
if you solve for energy, a lot of things open up, like vegetables, meat, all this can be grown,
Right.
in a robotic industrial facility, as long as you have
Also ice
artificial energy,
everywhere.
just yeah,
I
it all can be automated.
I think the energy problem will be solved. I don't have any data to back that, but I think there's enough
Feel?
incentives for people to actually try to solve it. This time when I got back, I talked to people from my hometown who work actually in science in different research institutes, and some of them military, but and
Can't talk
one
about
of them was super excited about this. I mean, I think you heard about this last year or the year before, right? The sort of the artificial starch that's been sort of created.
Yes, I brought that up. Artificial starch.
Yeah,
It's amazing. You can make artificial starch,
and
the basic sugar.
yeah.
Really?
So
Wow.
a guy I was talking to, my uncle's friend, who I think studied with him, studying medicine, but he's now in the adjacent industry in China, and he's super excited about that. He said, I mean, imagine that
Wow.
in future, I mean, if you just use energy to create starch, imagine the possibilities. And there's enough.
And that's all we need to eat.
Yeah. So
We all need to eat starch.
There's enough incentive for people to.
I mean, if we can
make that happen, yeah.
I mean, if all these technologies can manifest, we get very, very close to. I mean, because technology is inherently deflationary, right? So like, world becomes more social, like because there's almost access and everything's at a low cost, but it's still not perfect. Like we still live in a world of physical constraints where there is real limited scarcity, and so I think it does make
Scarcity of energy.
The scarcity of like physical goods to make that stuff, right? And like you have to like
it is scarcity of energy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but like, yeah, it's always the argument of dystopia versus utopia, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's an exciting technology though. That's fantastic. It's great for a lot of applications in the future. I'd like to make bread from free energy. Delicious.
I think
bread.
our lives will be much more communist, much more utopic. I think governments will have to change to adapt to that fact. It is progressing there. I mean, look at you and me. We haven't worked for years. We're still surviving.
Well, that's because of privilege, my friend, not because of anything.
When June said you and me,
no, there are more and more of us now like that.
That's true though. No, that's true.
You're in Singapore, that's why.
That's true. You need you
don't have land and energy.
No, but even like the trend in China itself, like they're like wealth has spread enough where like people can exist without struggling every day. Like you don't need that much.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of true overall.
Because food is cheap, energy is cheap, and like if you have your housing already built for you, right?
Yeah.
Then what else do you need to live?
Yeah, you just press magic buttons and food appears for you. Drivers appear for you. It's a great world.
And it's all like tied to vast amounts of energy, right? And with that, the capital required to have houses, buildings, and equipment and machines, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump to the next topic. So Jianggan wanted to talk about Temu. Okay, Temu. So
Temu means meat in Malay.
Temu Superbowl Ads, right? Why did you want to talk about this exactly? I watched the ad and it's just like
it's AI.
that's the first thought that came about. It's like the Temu team's probably wishing they waited for Sora to come out. I spent so much money on this stupid cartoon ad.
We don't have to spend money in producing it, but just buy the airtime.
Yeah, correct.
We can skip with the production costs. All we need people to know, is just the Temu logo.
Yeah, and you shop like a billionaire. So to me, I found the most interesting thing. Did you see the YouTube comments? There's so much hate for Temu.
Yeah. I saw that. I also looked at the Tucker Carlson's interview with Vladimir Putin, and it's so much.
How was that?
I mean, it's okay. I didn't watch the video, but I look at the comment, and there's so much admiration in the content.
Oh yeah, really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like everyone's like kudos to you, great president. You tell the truth, or whatever. So I don't know. I mean,
that's the Russian bots.
Yeah, and you look at the comments under the Temu. I mean, are these bots? Are these neocon bots?
I don't know, but I will say this: that sentiment matched the sentiment to we said this in other episodes of what I talked to people in the U.S. There is some portion of the population that it's not a good product market fit for them. I think there is a good product market fit, but they're not the type of people maybe who will comment on YouTube's app or watch the Super Bowl and then comment, right? So I don't know.
So we run a blog on WeChat in Chinese, which is actually quite popular amongst people who are exploring international markets.
Yeah.
So we did a poll. I think was that 3-4 days ago. This the next day of the Temu ad being aired. We said, okay, how do you guys think about Temu going to Super Bowl again? So this is Chinese speaking. Most of them are probably in sort of cross border or e-commerce or sort of global expansion kind of sectors.
Okay.
We got about 300 votes in like the first 24 hours. 63.4% of the people said that keep it up, emulate Amazon.
So say again.
Yeah. I mean, let me finish this first. And 6% of the votes said that okay, the ad last year was better. 30%, 12.6% of the people said that a team is growing too fast. We hope that they have more competitors in the cross-border space.
Cross-border space.
The next one is interesting. Like 17.89 or 18% of the people said that I'm a hardworking seller. I'm a hardworking manufacturer. I don't have time to care about this.
Those are the guys making the money.
No, those are guys like contributing to the Temu ecosystem. They're probably not making money, but they are contributing to Temu's success.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So why did you want to talk about this? Was it mainly because of the sentiment you saw, or like what's the insight here?
No, because so we published a report about Temu in February last year. Just like Shein, right? I mean, when it was sort of making a difference for many years, people didn't notice that because the media doesn't talk about it. And suddenly, when media starts talking about it, it's all about politics. Nobody bothers to look at their business model. Nobody bothers to look at, I mean, what makes them stand out against everybody
That's fair.
else.
You have a contrarian look at that. Okay.
Yeah. In the same industry. And what I find particularly interesting is that this time, I mean, it's close to elections, right? I mean, things get political. If you just look at all these comments under the YouTube channel. So there are lots of things which Temu has stirred up, right? I mean, you moved goods from China to US at a massive level, which, I mean, the goods are probably flowing anyway, but they have distributed of so many middle layers, making sort of manufacturer, Temu, consumer. So that allowed them to keep the prices down. Just this morning, a friend who is, I think, rich enough, he's been a CTO for like a decade, was telling me that he's living in Seattle, and he said he's so happy looking at Temu because I spend $1 makes me think that I'm spending $7.
Dude, this is a Temu ad. Is Temu paying you, Jianggan? It's exactly
no. I mean,
no, it's true. It's true. Amazon has been ripping off like the US market for
there's
quite a while.
Okay, fine. There's margin on the table. Let's take. I could agree with that.
But June, Amazon's not ripping off. Amazon at the end of the day is a platform. So like 60.
No, it's true.
Okay, whatever. The sellers on Amazon, the sellers on Amazon, the distributors, the people that buy stuff from China, bring it over here, mark it up, and have to sell eBay, Amazon, right? But the price difference is so big.
No, you have to segment it differently. There's a segment of users on Amazon where, like me growing up on Amazon, if I just click and buy, I don't need to think. I'm getting what I promised. It works really well. If I don't like it, I return it, no problem right away. I think what we're seeing is the segmentation of the user bases in different models. And what happened was, like, Amazon was the only monopoly. So you had this new group of sellers coming online that could abuse and charge higher prices for cheaper quality goods. Temu is probably coming in to disrupt that. It's more like, I kind of think it's like the dollar store of America, right? Except on the e-commerce format. But like the dollar store is very valuable. Like it's a very valid business format, and there is a use case for it, and people use it, right? So, but like there's not going to be this big, like it takes some market share away from Amazon, but Amazon's still going to be big, and they have other revenue streams. So I think it's still very valid that Temu does what it's saying, but to me the question is, what is the real innovation here? Because we've seen this story before. We've seen Wish.com, we've seen Jet.com, right? Wish.com is getting bought up by the Singaporean company. How do you say their name? Q10, is it?
Q10.
Okay.
Q10.
Yes, right. Q10 is buying them for $173 million from a peak valuation of $22 billion before IPO, and at IPO $11 billion, right? Either way, 22 to 11 billion to 173 million, right? We've seen this story, which is like kind of like there's this dollar store kind of online company. Eventually, kind of goes away, doesn't work out. What's different with Temu?
But Alex, that's exactly the problem. Right? People look at the story. People don't look into the organization. People don't look into the business model. People don't look.
So that's what I'm asking. What's different here?
So what happened at Wish? Why did Wish not work out anymore?
Have you guys ever used Wish?
No, I don't.
No,
See, I'm not.
It just came out. It only lasted for like 1-2 years before it just went away. I think they had a problem with traffic, right? They were paying too much to acquire traffic.
Maybe they weren't based.
No, I think paying too much to acquire traffic is not a problem. I mean, paying too much to acquire traffic that you can't retain, and that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, that's what I'm saying. They just can't make money on the traffic they pay.
Because I mean, first difference, Wish is a marketplace. Temu is not a marketplace; it's a retailer.
They buy from suppliers and put it on the website and house it like Amazon?
No, they do consignment. So they agree on a price from the suppliers. Suppliers ship the goods to the warehouse, and that goods legally belong to the suppliers. I mean, pretty much similar to what supermarkets are doing, right?
Consignment.
Okay, but then how does it?
When they sell at the margin and they pay you.
Is this drop ship, or is it like how? Like what's the opposite like? It's consignment, but consignment can sit in your own warehouse or the seller's warehouse. Well, actually, no, they're taking it then.
There is a service level being agreed, right? So at which point of time, what kind of goods need to be at their warehouse, and goods are shipped from their warehouse.
Okay, so it's different. It's different. Yeah,
it is different, and I think Wish. I mean, if you look at over the years, of course they grew very fast. But over the years, I mean, you so many different complaints about Wish, and the complaints came from both sides, from consumers.
Who are the Wish founders?
This Polish Canadian guy, who is the main founder, who was ousted in 2021 or 2022, replaced by I think GGV is heavily involved in that because
Peter Schwarzsky. Something.
Yes, the current CEO, which negotiated this deal with Q10, is operating partner of GGV Capital.
Oh, interesting.
He's probably I think at some point in time when he was appointed, that there was this press report or his speech saying that he was looking for strategic alternatives for Wish. And I think sending to Q10. I mean, that guy's based in Singapore, by the way. It's not based in US. So
where's he from?
I think originally from China, but I'm not sure which passport he holds. He used to be a PayPal Stripe executive. Yeah. Well,
because what I'm thinking is that maybe the founders were too far away from the situation. I think Temu's inherent advantage might be that they're based in China and very close to the manufacturing operations, suppliers, whatever, right? And I think that might be
Temu like a Walmart 2.0.
Yeah, could be. It's going well.
Yeah, I mean. The Amazon sellers will go to a supplier and say, okay, we're going to buy 1,000 of this quantity. Temu comes and says, oh, we're going to buy 1 million. Just like how Walmart used to do it.
Well, so yeah, it's a business model innovation.
Very, very similar. So lots of these new business models, right? I mean, I might have told some of you that a few weeks ago when I was meeting someone senior from Lucky, and he was telling me that, look, Lucky is just taking whatever McDonald's has done to the next level.
Correct.
Data. And we look at Temu is probably so different channel online, and sorry, go ahead.
Well, what I'm thinking that here's a very important differentiation in this innovation is, are they optimizing as a dollar store or are they optimizing as a Walmart? Because those are two different, consumers and business models, and so if it's the Walmart, then I think it's much scarier, right? It has more potential. But if they're not careful, they might end up like as a dollar store or even worse, like a Wish.com. So it has the potential to go either way, maybe.
No, I think. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Not a dollar store. The quality of stuff that they have over there are all the latest things, right? The new trends,
I don't know, man.
Stuff that are more lifestyle. I mean, Walmart's different from
It's the
the
same
rest
stuff.
because they have groceries and food, you know. They have FMCG and all the low margin items supplied by the big brands.
Okay,
Oh,
have you guys used Temu yet? I've tried and I just like nothing for me really.
do you use TikTok?
No, I need to.
I buy some things on Temu. Like I bought this on something like Temu,
Oh, you did. Oh, you
right?
did.
5
Okay, so
ringgit.
you're an actual user
Yeah,
from the Malaysian
5
market,
ringgit.
right?
Amazon would sell this for $30.
Is,
Yeah,
is,
30 USD in Amazon, 5 ringgit over
it's
here.
the same.
That's apples to oranges. You can't compare that.
No, the same thing, same product,
No, it can be.
same quality. You know, BPA 5,
It can be the same product,
30,
same
30
material,
USD
same
Amazon.
manufacturer, different brand.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
okay,
that's a
yeah.
huge
So
brand
no
premium.
brand here. This brand is called Drink. Yeah.
In fact,
So the days of big brands, right, having all the powers, I think it's slowly slipping away. I think.
it's like at some point in
No,
time,
I don't think so.
all the stocks produced out of China is called Spot as a brand.
There's this really good YouTube channel of this guy. He took a while to find his product market fit, but he goes to all the suppliers like in Japan, China, Italy for fashion. He talks to the guys who produce for like all the luxury brands, and what he does is he'll ask for the smallest MOQ possible, like $100, and then ask for the price. And the price of like what you would buy from luxury retail to what the suppliers tell you is insane. It's anywhere from like, 10
Yeah.
to 20, like $10 to $20 for one unit at a small MOQ. And it's very possible to get this, right? So essentially, like these are all just kind of like iterations off of whatever they're producing in China still at the end of the day, So it's I don't know.
So, two additional pointers. First, I think Temu has checked up lots of things. If you look at Alibaba International Commerce, previously it's all marketplace driven, right? Now they are trying to do the supply chain. Now they are trying to sort of merge the supply chain teams of Lazada, AliExpress, and Daraz. I mean, in China, single team, because at the end of the day, of course, you spend all the time with brands. You sort of work with all these ecosystem players. At the end of the day, what moves in volume and what moves in GMV at the platform is probably what matters to them the most. So, Temu has caused a lot of different platforms in China and especially cross-border ones, to rethink about their business model and actually making changes. Which one will work out or not? That depends on lots of issues, lots of things, right? I mean, your determination, your leadership, your sort of the people that you employ to actually do the work, the system you build. But at the end of the day, it has shaken up lots of things. This is the first pointer. The second pointer is this time when I was back to my hometown, which is 4 hours drive from Shanghai, across the Yangtze River. There's one thing I noticed is that a few households of relatives I visited, the snacks they took out and the sort of the meat they're cooking, and when you go to banquets, the drinks they're using, they're all from Sam's Club. All from Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
All
Wait.
from Sam's Club. Yeah, Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is funny is that there's a huge ecosystem of people actually buying sort of Daigou, like for Sam's Club, right? I mean, they tell you what exactly they're going to buy, and you just do a group order. And
give context for the international audience. What's a Daigou?
Daigou is that somebody goes to buy it for you.
They go to the store with their phone and turn on live, and then you talk to them, and they buy for you in bulk.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like
group shopping.
Yeah, it can be ordered beforehand. It could be like
it can be negotiated beforehand, and it's a very big business in China. Like, well, they have like IPO companies there.
Yeah, and these people charge exactly the same price, and they earn the
Huge
points
amounts.
and rebates.
Yeah.
So basically, they will charge you the price as is shown on the shelf, and they earn the points. And it has become a huge ecosystem where I didn't verify that, but I was told by somebody that that particular store to the north of Yangtze River is the highest grossing Sam's Club across Asia Pacific, because you have you have like so many like relatively affluent cities where lots of shoppers and then go and buy it. And is it cheaper than the other stuff that you find in the market? No, it's same price, sometimes even a bit more expensive. But I think similar to Costco, right? The packaging is a bit bigger, and a lot of things are private label. The quality is guaranteed, And yeah, it just feels good. Lots of people buy.
Does that mean big box has a possibility to exist in China then?
What is big box?
Big box retail, like Costco's, Best Buys, like
Costco is hugely popular in China.
Interesting.
Yeah, but here is like I mean, back in 2018, 2019, I mean, lots of retail businesses in China are saying that we are going to try to be the Costco of China. I think Costco entered China and became very popular.
Costco does this so well.
Lots of people are discussing about, what's special about Costco, right? And is that the membership model? Is there a store layout?
They carry a good FMCG brand. Yeah, store layout. And they have
it's also
very
the
good
management. The management is just
products.
so good. They also the way they treat employees. It's such a fantastic model.
I think I'm just trying to figure out what exactly is the key differentiator, right? I mean, some
from a
people
consumer side or from a business side or what?
From business side.
Well,
consumer side, you give them good experience, but what allows you to give that good experience while
they pay their employees so well. They have fantastic benefits. Like it's not like a crazy for-profit hungry business that optimize like a Walmart, right?
No, I know. I think that's the facade. So what
you
allows
think so?
them?
No, it's actually true.
No, yeah. So, but that's not the core. The core is that what they have done to make their operation so efficient that they can afford to pay their employees so well that attracts the best employees while still keep the business sort of more competitive compared to the rest.
Isn't it just like no different than what you see with those like group buy companies in China? It's like they're doing it on the online way. This is just the old school way. No, it's just works.
Many of them don't treat their employees well, and many of them do not have the the competitive advantage.
No,
that's a question
I think they've put into the minds of they're put into the minds of the customers that Costco is where you buy wholesale or like household level wholesale.
Good branding then,
right?
Yeah.
It's a branding. It's a concept. So if a guy comes in more and buys a much bigger basket than compared to Walmart, where they buy a week's worth, right? But at Costco, you stock up for a month or two.
I think they probably have some deep consumer insights to allow them to offer you something that exactly you need and allow you to keep much smaller number of SKUs while still like making every customer feel that okay, I'm buying exactly what I need. And
they're definitely buying more than what they need.
No. What I'm saying is that in terms of assortment of goods, you could have a long tail of lots of different things that nobody actually buys, but that takes shelf space.
Yes, so they don't do that. I think their buying teams or they probably use a good deal of data. And they rely on really strong brands to show. Like don't waste space with brands that don't sell, right?
Yeah. So they probably have very, very good buyer team and have very, very good consumer insights to support that.
Well, you have to also think about this is old school offline operations. They have a very probably fantastic playbook for merchandising, right? You have to kind of do all of it together. Like they know how to probably turn what space for which SKU on the floor, merchandise in what format, to kind of really optimize on all the economics, right? And then also like what gets stacked on the racks in the warehouses versus what goes lower level, right? Like all of it, it's old school that works really well. And of course, like there are like newer iterations of this, what we see around the world. It's just fundamentally good.
Yeah, if somebody who take this to e-commerce and make it really well, and that's what Team at least is attempting to do.
That's interesting.
But Temu doesn't try to get into this space. I mean, like 80% of like what you buy from Costco will be FMCG, right?
Yeah, but
that's
right now maybe the online mix is So if Temu wants to do this properly, right, then they have to take a Costco approach and go for these established brands to buy their products. But they won't get much lower prices because what all the big guys already buy millions of units of SKUs. So they'll be just like anybody. Not much difference.
If you are Temu, you will not start with FMCG because Alibaba is different, right? It sort of makes money on advertising, so FMCG brands would have lots of money to spend on this. But Temu runs on margins and factoring the fulfillment costs that you will not have good margins than FMCG, and besides FMCG is widely available across other channels, so they have to look at goods where they could have a distinct advantage in terms of cost, in terms of selection, in terms of speed of fulfillment, and I think that
so there won't be a big advantage to be online Costco too, right?
No, see, I think this is where we're now. Look, I think what we're talking about is we're constrained to what we know, but the problem is we don't know what we don't know, which is the future, right? And I think where these big e-commerce type platforms need to innovate is on the product level. When I say product level, I mean websites, right? Because we're stuck onto whatever formats we have now. But that paradigm is changing with the advent of like, VR goggles, how we interact with the world. And I think the shops have to evolve in the product space as well, right? The product experience matters more and more and more over time. And I think as new technologies come into play, it creates new paradigms where it branches off. And so I think, like maybe a Costco is possible online, but we need to like rethink how we experience e-commerce through our devices. And we lost Jianggan.
We lost Jianggan.
Hopefully it gets there. Well, I don't know. What do you think about my comment, June? Do you think we're not just constrained by our devices? We could, like, e-commerce can evolve with new devices and new paradigms? Or is that too imaginative?
I think live selling is probably that.
That's one
to say VR and stuff like that. Maybe not yet. Not yet.
It'll get. You're right. It's too early. But
later on, if that thing becomes like much more smaller and cheaper, and people can afford it, why not?
Because we're stuck to the way we optimize on a website or on a mobile phone. Like the way you search and catalog, that can shift if you can interact with the media in different ways, and that's going to power e-commerce on a different level if someone can figure that out. So, or like if you're walking around the world,
there's something about picking the product you want from like this store display, right?
Yeah,
there's something about that. Yeah, but there's something also about like walking around all the aisles. It's kind of annoying.
It's
and
the
then
same.
Loading it in a shopping cart, and then that dreaded checkout. Oh, geez.
In the physical world, yes, and especially when like you run around the 5 stores and you can't find what you want. But like VR probably can change that, right? So like live selling is that next. It's the same thesis. It's the next iteration where there's more data points, like we talked about before. But like in the future, I think
someone unplugged my network. Data. Oh shit.
Oh, hopefully he didn't lose the.
I can reply.
Hopefully he didn't lose the data. Jesus Christ! Was it a cat?
Can we wait for him to come back?
Cats in his house. We don't have to. You could ask him. Let's see, what does he want? Are you coming back? Are you coming back? Okay, so I guess we don't get to talk about the last topic. I mean, I don't know. Was there anything interesting about
what is the last topic?
The Indonesian election with what's his name?
Yeah. So a new prime minister, Prabowo, who's a bit of like a strongman. He's a big boss, right? Who's implicated in a lot of like nasty things he did. He's a former, I think, lieutenant general or something.
General or army general.
Yeah,
and
before defense minister, he was a professional soldier. He started his career as special forces, special forces commander, special forces colonel, special forces general.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Involved in like subduing East Indonesia. Involved in the riots in 1998 too.
Oh wow. Okay, but he's also tried before and failed. So is this why this is such a unique circumstance?
He's tried 3 times already. No, I mean, so Jokowi can't be president anymore.
Okay.
And this guy has run against Jokowi for 2 times.
And so it's been close.
And he was second to Jokowi. Yeah, that's how he ended up as a defense minister, even though they're not the same party. But now, since he can't run, he's going to become prime minister, and Jokowi's son is his VP.
Oh, wow. Was that on purpose?
Yeah. Probably a compromise between Jokowi's party and him. Mm-hmm. I think as a leader, his platform is not too different from Jokowi.
Oh, interesting. So what's the big news? Like, do we care because this is a growing economy? It's the 4th largest country in the world by population. We need to start paying attention because they eventually have undue influence in the political scene, or like why did Jianggan want to talk about this? Like, what should we care about in this new election? Of course, new strongman. We don't know how he plays out strategically, military wise, how he handles politics. I don't know. What do you think?
I think, like I said, Indonesia, with its new capital, its high population and high growth, would eventually result in Southeast Asia being more integrated, more free flow between Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, and the rest. That the whole region would become more assimilated, I think. So Bahasa will take much more prominence. So will Chinese. English would start to decline. English will start to decline.
That's probably true.
And the two economies would just get closer and closer, I think.
I don't know if English fully declines though. It's still a very important
Hey,
language.
Jianggan is not
globally.
back. Jianggan is not back. Yeah,
Maybe we could get his final closing thoughts, and then we can break for the weekend.
yeah. So Indonesia is something that we should pay close attention to. It's developing really fast.
That's an
Big
interesting thesis.
population, good government policies, and with the region, in Southeast Asia, I don't know, like with the birth rates and how the population mix would change. This area in ASEAN would take its own shape very soon.
Yeah, it's true. Like if Indonesia grows in power and influence, and the economy does develop to more higher middle income, I don't know if we see in our lifetime a high income country in Indonesia. That's a lot of inertia to overcome, probably, right?
A lot.
Yeah. So then,
No,
it's a growing sphere of
it's not
influence.
something that can easily be predictable. But I'm just saying, based on the population, ethnicities, things will get more integrated across the whole Southeast Asia.
Yeah. I think no matter what though, like it becomes more of a major language. But like China's not going away, the English sphere is not going away, so it's still important, at least for our lifetime, I think. I don't know if it'll decline, because I feel like every pocket, like every elite circles in Southeast Asia, they all speak English. Like you could literally live in any of these countries and
Come on, let's be honest, okay? In Malaysia, looking at the current problem that we have now, English is going to diminish by a lot. Only the Malay elites would use it, and the Chinese would use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're looking at 40,000. The next generation is 10% of what it used. I mean, it went from 30% to 10%.
I don't think you can say that, because it just makes there's more English learners in the world, because as long as the English hegemon exists, people will still want to learn language. Chinese will increase. Maybe more people want to learn Bahasa, but I don't think it fully. I think at a certain level, if you're educated, you're still going to learn English. Or it's like Europe. You're going to learn multiple languages. Like most people in Europe speak 2 to 3 languages, right? So I think it'd just be more like that. So I don't know.
I know it's like the level of English as compared to my cohort versus the upcoming cohort or my niece and nephew's cohort is just declining. It's declining across the whole population. The less and less speakers, the less and less proficient.
Yeah. So Jianggan, Jun was saying, basically we're talking about the elections already. So what's his name, Jun?
Probo. I think Jiang is stuck. He's not really here.
Jianggan, are you here? No, I think we're just going to wrap this up. I think we have to probably talk about this another time. I think it's an interesting topic, though. I think that like it's something that's semi-contrarian, semi-frontier. It is something that's very important, especially for this region, that people should pay attention more to and could explore it more. But I think that's where we probably have to leave it at this point. And I think you gave some good intro points to it. So then for the future episode, then.
Hey.
All right, we'll tell Jianggan that we're closing out then. Okay, good episode.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, leave it open.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.